freshman football.
I was honestly rooting for the Browns during that game because I don't want to see the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just
I
wanted
don't
to see a team
either.
that's usually bad make it far.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited about the Bills because
Yeah,
I don't know the last time they made the playoffs, like '93 or something.
it was a
It's been a
long
long
time
time.
ago. Well, and they've never actually won it, so
Well, didn't they make it a couple years ago? But then
they
we're like a
they
first round
made
out.
they made 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost all of them.
Which is insane.
Yeah,
And I really feel for their fan base. I hope they win.
yeah.
That's my personal favorite for the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think I got the Bills and the Packers making the Super Bowl.
As long as both of
Yeah,
the
I don't-
NFC teams can't win it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
I'd kind of like
I'm-
to see the Packers win it.
I'd be okay with
No,
the Bucks if they weren't being led by Brady.
I absolutely agree. And I don't like Bruce Arians either. He kind of annoys me.
Yeah,
I mean, Bruce
I'm
Arians.
saying
like-
Arians thing.
I'm okay with Rodgers, but almost my entire family is Bears fans.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I'm legally obligated to hate the Packers.
I hate the Packers just because I'm tired of everybody talking about them. Purely just because we live close enough to it.
I mean, I've had a hatred for Aaron Rodgers probably since the Super Bowl that we lost to them.
Oh, that's understandable.
But like,
That was our own damn fault, though.
the only reason I want them to win this is so they stop complaining that he doesn't have a receiving core, because he does.
Oh, he absolutely does. Yeah, I don't quite understand that defense. Although he is, at least to me, looking like the obvious pick for MVP this season.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
he's got to be. If they give it to Mahomes, it's definitely rigged.
Definitely. I mean, did you look at
Mahomes
Devontae
is
Adams?
actually-
Some of his Devontae Adams stats this year were ridiculous.
I mean, he
He
missed. Didn't he miss?
He had
Two
more
games.
receiving touchdowns than 15 other franchises.
Wasn't he like third in total yardage after missing 2 games?
Yeah, he was like third in total yardage, first in touchdowns by a lot. And I mean, when you're that good of a route runner and you've got someone who can throw the ball on the dime every time, it's just impossible to stop.
And I think it's really nice to finally see Alan Lazard playing good,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
as an Iowa State fan at least. I
Yeah,
think
it was
that-
really disappointing to watch him get injured halfway through the season.
Yeah, I think that kind of eased my hatred for the Packers. They went and got him and actually got him on a team that can play.
Right.
'Cause
They
he was
set
with
him up
the-
for success.
He was with the Jags, wasn't he, for his first season?
I think so.
Like the practice squad. I don't think he ever played. But I'm glad he didn't get stuck in Jacksonville with the shit show that's down there.
Yeah, they're going to
I'd be
be an
looking up, though.
exciting place for the offseason this year.
Who'd they get as head coach? I thought it was somebody like
They got
special,
Urban
but I
Meyer.
couldn't remember.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
took Ohio
good.
State's coach.
I didn't think he was ever going to go back into coaching, honestly. Because the 2 times that he's quit has been over health issues.
Yeah,
So I was really surprised that he would take the most likely more stressful job as a professional head coach. But also it's Jacksonville, so the stress level can't be
Yes
that high.
and no. I feel like the expectation for Jacksonville is a lot lower than Ohio State. So
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I don't know.
And I think the
But it
expectation
probably will
behind
help to have Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I'll be interested to see what they do because they've got a lot of cap room and they've got a lot of spots to fill. So,
I mean, they didn't even guarantee that they're going to take Trevor Lawrence.
yeah,
With
that
that
was kind
first
of
pick.
funny.
This is true. They're kind of empty right now. Like they let go of Leonard Fournette. I think this season, right? Like now he's in Tampa
Right.
Bay.
Well,
Yeah.
they got their rookie running back James Robinson did really well.
Yeah, he was good. I was lucky enough to get him on my fantasy team.
Carried your
'Cause
fantasy team.
my first pick was Saquon, so that didn't go so hot.
Yikes!
So
I mean-
I was glad to find him.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey was my first pick, and he played like 2 games.
Hmm.
I don't know if any of us, with our first pick, actually got somebody that was helpful.
No, because my first and second was Saquon and then Michael Thomas. So both of those
I
kind
think
of
I
came
took
and bit me.
Kamara first.
He had a pretty great season.
Great for the first half of the season.
Michael Thomas didn't have a touchdown all year.
No. I was reading today actually that he is planning on having like at least 2, maybe 3 surgeries this offseason, and that he
Oh,
came
wow.
back this season to play through quite a bit of pain just because he wanted like Breeze. Like he knew this was probably Breeze's last season, so he wanted, to go for that Super Bowl. So I think he's been fighting through like some pretty substantial like torn ligaments and stuff like that. Not that his performance wasn't bad because it was, but like I get it, and that's pretty commendable in my opinion at least.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'll be
saw that.
shocked if Breeze doesn't retire.
I kind of don't believe that he was in as much pain as that is. Because I think
That's
there's
what I read.
I read it too. I think there's a certain point where even as the coaching staff, even if they think you're helpful, like, but it is Sean Payton who's probably the biggest, most selfish douchebag in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't like Sean Payton.
But just
I
at
don't
some
like the Saints in general.
yeah, at some point you got to be like, just chill the fuck out. Like for your health wise, it doesn't.
Right.
I mean, Breeze's career was insane, and like even though I'm not the biggest fan of him, like that was a depressing way to go out. Just that second half was painful, even for me, and that was just, I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
No, it was not
Like what
a
he
good
threw
game
like
to watch,
3 picks, I think.
and they were all bad picks too.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm trying to think. Like Roethlisberger in his playoff game was mostly horrid. He was improving. Like he gets warmer every time, which is frustrating. But a couple of his picks were just like batted balls or stuff that should have been cut and knocked up. He only had like I think 1 pick where it was just a bad throw. But from what I remember, every Breeze throw was just not where it should have been, or there was a miscommunication, and somebody didn't run the right route, or I don't know. He didn't look like himself. It was kind of a tough way to see his career end.
Yeah.
That first pick that he threw was probably the most like excusable one, where he just didn't get it. Like he didn't get it up enough, but the rest of them were just like, where are you throwing that ball to?
Yeah, I'm not. And at least from what I remember, each one got like a pretty big return, and I don't know. That kind of sucked to see. I was really rooting for him personally.
I mean, I had picked the Bucks to win, so I was rooting for the Bucks, but it was a hard way to watch his career end.
Mhm.
I think there's no way that he plays again after being out like long term 2 seasons in a row.
What do you think the move is in New Orleans for the quarterback position? Because I figured it would be Jameis Winston by now, but they keep talking about Taysom Hill. Like the guy, it's weird. I don't really see that happening, but I don't know.
No, I think if they make Taysom Hill the full-time starter, that they're not going to be as good.
Yeah,
think
I really
they're-
don't think he can keep that full-time starter position because, I mean, he's the kind of guy that runs the ball more often than any quarterback, and he'll get banged up easily, and then he'll be out of the league in no time.
I see Winston having a higher ceiling, but also a very low
I
floor
mean-
because
We haven't seen post-LASIK Jameis in action yet, so
That's true.
I mean,
The
he had a
dude threw
touchdown
for over
pass.
5,000 yards. He threw for over 5,000 yards while throwing away 30 drives.
Mhm.
LASIK Jameis could be elite. We don't know.
If I was a Buccaneers fan, to this day I'd still be pissed that they dropped Jameis for Brady. 'Cause
Yeah.
you have Brady for 2, maybe 3 years, but I think Jameis is, yeah, all of those also painful. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of potential there, and to see that go to a rival, that's gotta be
Right.
frustrating.
Especially if he does really good there. Just locks up the division.
I think he will if you get a healthy Michael Thomas.
Oh, for sure. If you've got
If
good
that
weapons
ever
around him.
happens. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see whether or not that decision, ends up biting him, because I think it will.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady wants to play until he's 45, but he's 43 right now. So this year and next year is basically it. So yeah, the decision to
So
just
ready.
completely cut Jameis that's definitely gonna hurt him.
I mean, as long as Brady doesn't get any like career-ending injuries, he's probably going to keep playing for a while.
I mean, he's old enough to where like a hangnail could be a career-ending injury.
Fair enough. Like one hit to the head and
I
he's
think he
done.
might. Yeah, he has had very few like substantial injuries like that, but I don't know. I feel like the odds of him going unscathed in his 43-year-old body are
Right.
low. But we'll see. I feel like you kind of get a hint of whether or not that Jameis decision was the good one to make. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I think it's pretty telling this season. If they don't get any further than the NFC Championship game, then I don't know if it was really worth it in the long run. Like, either you get a title this year or the next, or else I think it was a waste. But
Right. Well, that's why I think the Bucks are probably going to be. They're not. I don't think they're going to be bad with Brady, but they're going to be probably a team that gives up a huge trade package to move up in the draft for a top quarterback in the next couple of years.
You don't trust Blaine Gabbert to take over?
Not entirely, honestly.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert and Ryan Griffin. I don't even
Oh,
know who
boy.
that is. Those are their backups.
yeah, I'm not familiar with that second name, but
They're both
best of luck.
31, so they're not exactly young. And he went to Tulane.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need to draft a young quarterback when Brady leaves.
He's played 2 games in his entire career. And he's only thrown 4 passes in those 2 games.
How do you only throw 4 passes in 2 games?
He must have like come in at the end or something.
I guess.
Completed or thrown?
Last year he attempted 4 and completed 2.
Oh, wow.
That's not great.
For a
Not what you
total,
want in a franchise quarterback.
yeah,
Not particularly.
total of 18 yards, but no interceptions.
That's good, I guess.
I mean, he's got a better Q quarterback rating than Nathan Peterman, I guess. And he was a starter for a little bit.
I haven't heard
He's
that name in a
still
long
on
time.
the Raiders roster.
Yep. I think he's their third stringer.
Oh yeah, because when Derek Carr got hurt in that one game, they were talking about putting Peterman in.
I can't believe they even considered that.
I still don't think that.
It's bizarre. I thought Mariota did a great job.
Yeah, and I really don't think that John Gruden is a smart head coach.
No, not really.
If he saw
He
something
does have a Super Bowl win, though.
with Tony Dungy's,
Yeah, but so does Mike McCarthy.
that's true.
Yeah, okay. Fair point.
Yeah, I don't know what the Bucks are going to do when Brady leaves.
I did read that Gronk was going to stick around. Like that definitely helps. But at this point, I don't know what their cap situation is though, because they took in so many free agents.
It's
Um,
yeah, they got to be close to. It's just the weapons they have on offense. That's not cheap.
no, and I feel like they have to capitalize right now, because I don't foresee them being anything special without Winston, a few years down the line.
Yeah, it's literally this year or next year, and that's it.
They've got a decent amount of cap space at about 32.5 mil.
That's more than I thought.
They will have a lot of free agents though.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of
See, they've
really
got-
big names too. Mike Evans.
They've got
actually.
Levante David, Chris Godwin, Shaq Barrett, Gronk, Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown.
I forgot that AB was there.
He's actually done pretty well in the games he's started.
I'm not sure when Mike Evans' contract ends, but
I know for sure that Chris Godwin's is up this year,
Yeah.
but I thought Mike Evans got a big extension or some big deal.
Yeah, Mike Evans
Yeah.
will be there for a while, I think.
2018 he signed a 5-year, $82.5 million extension.
Jeez.
So that's gonna, I don't know, secured for a little bit, but it's gonna hurt, in 3 years.
This is
Yeah.
probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think he's that good. He's a good
Yeah, it's
receiver,
unpopular.
but I don't think he's like the shit. Like he acts like he is.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to be like that when you've got so much other talent around you, though.
I
But
think
if-
he
if
kind
you-
of carried Johnny Manziel to the NFL personally, but I don't know. I think, right?
Yeah, but what has he done since he's gotten here?
I don't know. He couldn't really do too much with the quarterback that throws like 30 picks, but I don't know. We'll see. Right
they
now,
don't-
I feel like it's difficult because the receiving core is pretty stacked, so I think it's kind of hard to carve out,
Right.
such a big place when everybody's competing at such a high level. I mean, they just picked up AB, like that's pretty hard to beat.
is
I mean, I feel like Mike Evans is definitely. I mean, maybe he's a little overrated, or not. I don't know what I'm saying. He's definitely not like a subpar receiver.
no.
He's got over 1,000 yards every year he's been in the NFL, and close to double-digit touchdowns every year.
I mean, I think any team would be happy to have him, but
Right.
it's, or I don't know. I think,
Maybe the problem is his price tag.
Yeah, I
yeah, that
don't-
is a
I feel like-
high price.
Yeah, that's a lot for a receiver.
82.5 million is insane.
He's also 27 or 28, and no team will want to cough up a big salary for a player that's in their late 20s.
So, how old is AB?
AB is
He's like 32.
Yeah, I think so.
He's on a 1-year deal, though.
Yeah, Mike Evans is 27. Antonio Brown's 32. 33 in July.
I'm amazed he's even been able to find another spot. Like, that teams
Yeah.
have actually been willing to take him is crazy to me.
After all the drama, I'm surprised anybody took a chance on him.
I mean, Brady wanted him really, really bad, so that's got to be why they went and got him.
Yeah.
That has to be the only reason that they signed him. But other than like the game against Atlanta at the end of the year, he wasn't really that big of a factor. And he only got 11 receptions against the Falcons, so Brady could start making a pay rent with that bonus check.
Yeah.
I remember when there were rumors after Pittsburgh dropped him that he was going to go to Buffalo, I think was the rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Bill
Um,
for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, at this point, I would much rather be in Buffalo right now than Tampa. I think
Yeah.
just,
Pittsburgh tried to trade him to Buffalo, I think, and he like just wouldn't go.
Yeah, but
yeah, I think he did more dumb shit that like made them not. He probably threw more furniture off of more hotel balconies or something. I don't.
Well, I think the
know.
Bills are
But the
definitely
man's
glad they went with.
insane.
I'm sure they're glad they got Diggs instead.
well, I think any like even-tempered receiver in that trade would have gone there and done fine. But even in the shape he was in, even if he'd gone, they probably would have cut him too.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he didn't last long in or with the Raiders
He didn't play a
Yeah.
game with the Raiders.
at all.
No,
No, they
he-
cut him before the season started.
That's right. Yeah, because then
He
he
was-
played for the Patriots briefly.
for like
I
2
think.
weeks.
Yeah. It's a complicated timeline for me. I'm trying to remember all of it.
And when he was with the Patriots, I didn't really see like what Brady liked so much about him.
No, not particularly.
Like it wasn't anything special. Like he wasn't just targeting him.
Right. No, Brady likes his dump down guys like Edelman and Godwin.
I always kind of felt like he carried the Pats, but it was kind of sad this year to see just how much he carried them.
Yeah.
Brady?
Yeah,
Yeah, they are looking rough. Although it warms my heart to see them not make the playoffs for the first time in like
Oh
what,
my
like
gosh.
13 years.
I'm just glad
Like-
anybody else won that division.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
especially now that like Miami's pretty competitive, really, and I think they will be going
Oh, for
forward,
sure.
for a while. So I
yeah, I'm
think that
kind of
division
surprised.
completely
that-
flipped.
Yeah, Brian Flores has done a hell of a job in Miami.
Oh yeah, even last year, really. I mean, they were like one of the worst teams last year, but
They,
they had a
yeah,
lot
they
of
signed
potential, and
a,
they had so many picks. It's crazy.
they signed a bunch of free agents and they stole all of Houston's picks. And
They did take Houston, yeah, because now Houston is a struggle bus right now.
Houston is going down the drain. They're so bad.
Every time I look at the draft order, it kind of makes me laugh that Houston was the third worst team in the league and they don't have a first round pick.
Or a second.
Yeah, that is painful. Probably gonna lose JJ. Probably gonna lose Deshaun,
Yeah.
Oh, undoubtedly going to lose Deshaun.
and
Yeah.
I don't even know who their backup is or what the plan is without Watson because, yeah, I mean, they were looking rough with him in. Like it's not like the Winston situation where,
The backup's AJ
wasn't performing
McCarron.
well. I don't recognize that name.
He's not like he's an above average backup, I'd say.
He went to Alabama, didn't he?
I think so.
I thought he was with the Bengals for a while.
Yeah, he was.
I think, yeah, he was. He was the backup for Dalton for a while.
Like he definitely doesn't have the skill of a starter, but he's an above average backup.
He's also in his 30s.
Yeah, I really don't know what Houston's gonna do.
It's really hard to trade away all your talent and all your draft picks, and they found a way to do it.
It was
Because
a
usually
complete
it's one
implosion.
for the other, but they're just kind of all of it for nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a shame because they were really competitive a few years ago.
Last year,
Yeah, even last year.
Yeah.
They were.
Well, that's what
Hey,
happens when you give Bill O'Brien ultimate power.
God
Yeah,
bless Bill
it's a
O'Brien.
complete failure. It's almost funny to like watch it happen to somebody else, like to just see how far they can fall, but at the same time,
It's
I really
it's all
feel for
because
him.
the Astros cheated.
Is that why?
Did you see
That's
that?
when it all started.
Did you see that?
That's when
Aldridge-
Harden
Juju?
That's when Harden wanted to leave, and that's when the Texans started doing horrible.
Did you see the before and after pics of Harden?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
How he dropped like 70 pounds in 48 hours?
he was definitely
Pretty
wearing a fat
impressive.
suit or something.
100%. Dude warmed up in four different tracksuits.
He was doing everything he possibly could to get out of Houston.
I mean,
And he was like, you know what? If it takes sitting on the couch 20 hours a day and eating donuts to get out of this terrible franchise, that's what it's going to be.
I don't even know who else is in the Texans division now that I think about it. I'm not as familiar with the NFC.
well,
Colts,
they're in the
Jags,
AFC.
Titans.
Oh yeah, they are. I'm done. Thank you. AFC South, right?
I mean, at least they might not get last because the Jags are there.
Hmm.
Who do
That's
you
pretty
think
much all they
even-
got
Oh,
going
yeah.
for them.
Like, who would
No, you
take?
guys are-
Who would want to take the Houston job right now?
Literally, there's nothing to work with.
Who is their their new GM, new head coach? I don't even know.
It's an interim guy that they have. Well, they might be doing coach searching, but I don't know that anybody would want that job.
Yeah, that'd be quite the task.
Did you see
Yeah,
the?
Jags, Colts, Titans, and Texans. I can't speak.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough between the Colts and Titans because they've both been competitive for a while. I don't know about the Jags. Be curious to see what happens, but
How much longer does Philip Rivers play? Just in your opinion.
I'd say one more year
One more year, yeah. I think
at
the
least.
Colts
I don't
will,
see him leaving.
The Colts will probably try and find someone this year or next year.
Jacoby Brissett's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still there, but he's definitely not a long-term answer.
No, not long term, but I thought he played well last year.
Yeah, I mean, I get their run
Sure.
game is really solid now, so I guess he would be an adequate fill-in for a year.
Yeah, if they get Marlon Mack back healthy.
Well, I
They
mean,
should-
they've got
they should be
Jonathan
better.
Taylor behind the line now.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me. Like, it worked out in the end, but when they drafted him, I was kind of surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just dump Marlon Mack now.
I mean, I think they'd be more tempted to drop Naheem Hines instead.
Yeah, I think one of those two running backs is going to get dumped, and the other's going to be a backup, and JT will be the starter.
I mean, I think they could pretty easily run like a two running back set like Cleveland does.
They could definitely do that.
Like, I think that's probably their best option. Hines doesn't seem like a normal back, if that makes any sense.
Right. I feel like Hines could be more of an like if you've got Taylor running up the middle, I feel like Hines is a better receiving back than Marlon Mack.
Yeah, he's more of a receiving back or just kind of an outside guy. He's definitely not a power back. And I think the hardest thing for them is probably that Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor kind of have the same skill set,
Yeah.
which doesn't match Cleveland because I think Kareem Hunt should be more of the power guy, but they don't really use him like that. And Chubb's more elusive. But when you got two guys with the same skill set, I don't really know. Like, it could work, but I don't think it'd be as successful.
Marlon Mack's a free agent this coming off season,
Oh, damn.
so I don't think they're going to re-sign him.
No, Hines is probably a quality backup and definitely worth a lot less. So I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting now. See who they go with or where he goes.
And Hines is only 24.
Not that the Steelers front office is gonna hear this, but go fucking get Marlon Mack.
Or
Anybody,
like
man.
anyone else except Connor.
I like Connor as a person, but god damn it, he's unproductive.
No, I would take Mark Ingram over James Conner right now.
Every like Steelers circle I listen to or read about keeps talking about drafting Harris. And
I mean, I wouldn't hate that. He played really well this year.
I would. I don't know if that's realistic. Like, I think Pittsburgh has the 24th pick. 20.
Yeah, that's my.
23rd or 24th?
I don't think he makes it that far. That's
No, I don't
my
either.
concern.
Like, I would love if that happened, but I don't see it happening. But
I would also love if we went with a quarterback first round, but I don't see that happening either.
no,
I mean, the last
Mm.
first round quarterback we drafted was Ben.
Yeah.
I don't even know
And
who
he's
it
been-
would be.
I mean, he's been the only guy that's been worth drafting, honestly.
I thought Rudolph might have been it for a little bit. But it's
Because
not
he's
looking that way.
basically
Although he
just-
did have a pretty solid game against Cleveland.
I mean, Mason Rudolph is basically just Costco Ben. They're
Basically,
the same fucking size, but he does not have the skill set.
no, and he's not super mobile either. That kind of seems to be like the norm now, and I don't know. Like, I guess whenever Pittsburgh started Dobbs, like there was that kind of factor. Like he could run some gadget plays, and he was a little bit more. I don't know. He was like more of a utility quarterback, but for the most part, that's just not really what I've seen Pittsburgh's offense do. It's always just that like backyard quarterback, just lob up passes. There isn't much movement back there.
I mean,
And so
Right.
I'd be curious to see that happen, but I don't even know who we would draft if we even went for quarterback first round.
if we went with a quarterback, the only person that really fits the not being good at running is probably Mac Jones, and even he's too much of a runner.
I'd
Well,
love to see it.
yeah.
But
As long as we don't go with Justin Fields, which we shouldn't. He doesn't make it that far, in my opinion.
no,
No, I don't think Justin Fields makes it down there.
No, somebody's going to be stupid enough to draft him, and then an entire fan base is going to be disappointed in 2 years when he gets cut.
It's gonna be Daniel Jones all over again.
It's going to be Dwayne Haskins all over again. Ohio State can't make a quarterback.
Dwayne Haskins' situation is sad to see.
Yeah. I don't know. I really think he could still be an average quarterback under the right system and the right coach.
I agree, but I just don't know who would even be willing to take him. Like, I don't know who's going to give him a shot.
I feel
Maybe
like the
like really
Rams
desperate.
could potentially give him a shot.
This is true. Goff has not exactly been. Or what did
Yeah.
I saw some stat that was like in playoff games, Goff has like 3 touchdown passes and Baker Mayfield has 3 as well. But Baker Mayfield has only played one playoff game, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, statistically, he didn't play very well against the Packers, but he didn't look bad either.
Right.
I feel like it's been his entire career. Is always looking like a little bit above average, but never quite being the guy. So
I always forget that he was a first overall pick when they were in St. Louis.
mhm.
Yeah. No, they gave up a ton to trade up for him.
That's not looking so hot now. But
I mean,
Well,
technically, he won
It's
him a
looking
Super
better
Bowl.
than Carson Wentz.
No, he didn't even win him a Super Bowl. They made it to a
That's very
Super Bowl.
no, and they had like the weakest Super Bowl performance I've ever seen. It was so
Yeah.
painful.
That was a pretty bad game.
Like I'm really on both sides of the ball, or for
Yeah.
both teams. I mean, like nobody could make anything happen. But no, that was disappointing, and I don't even care about the Rams really.
Didn't they go in at like 13-3 or something like that? Weren't they the 1 or 2 seed?
Yeah, they were the 1 seed, I think.
Yeah,
That was when Gurley was in his prime shape.
Gurley. I think they still had Ramsey at that point.
For 3.5 months.
Or no, sorry, they didn't have Ramsey. Did they?
No, they just got him.
I don't think so.
They got him
No.
last. Didn't they get him last year?
Yeah, no, he was probably still in Jacksonville. You're right. No, the Aaron Donald. I think that was his MVP season, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, I think so.
But he didn't exactly light it up against the Packers.
No, they're saying he was playing hurt, which I'm
He
sure
was out. He was out from a good portion of the game against the Packers.
Yeah, he was on camera more on the sideline than on the field.
Yeah, he got a rib injury against the Seahawks.
There's just something about playing hurt that always kind of bothers me.
Yeah,
Is the excuse afterwards is that it was because of the injury. Like if you knew you were hurt and you still put yourself out there to play, then you still
it's your own fault.
Yeah, that's your fault. You got to produce.
At least in my experience, it seems like I always hear those excuses from like ESPN or Sports Center or something. Though, like I don't know how many times I've actually heard the player like put any blame on an injury. I'm sure Aaron Donald wouldn't. That dude's badass, but still, like at what point are you a detriment to your team, and at what point should you free up a spot for somebody else too?
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, definitely Michael Thomas.
It was funny to see the two sides of Jalen Ramsey, the two
Oh,
back-to-back
yeah.
weeks, where he kind of. I mean, he played pretty well against the Seahawks, but he was non-existent last weekend.
Well,
Devontae
he
Adams,
still
man.
did. He still did really well against Adams last week. The problem was they kept moving Adams all over the field to try and get him off Ramsey.
I think there was a play like at the 1, I think, where Adams was lined up on the left, and before the snap, like
Oh yeah, where he motioned
motioned
over,
across the
motioned back.
entire line. And
Yeah,
like they were doing that kind of stuff all night, just like make it almost impossible for Ramsey to even.
I mean, it was
start
great
on him.
game planning.
No, I mean, yeah, props to the Packers for that, but
I thought
I
it
don't
was.
think you can put all of the blame on Ramsey.
I mean, I thought it was funny how like pissed off he was at his teammate
Okay.
when it's man coverage and that's your guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll switch like half a second before the ball snapped and then gets all pissed and brings all that bad energy to the bench.
Yeah. They need
But-
some kind of like somebody in the secondary with a leadership personality trait. Like Jalen Ramsey can't lead anybody,
Right.
but he's got the
No.
most talent, so he's not going to listen to anybody else.
No, he is toxic. Like I think. Or maybe
Jacksonville's defense has gotten terrible, but I would rather suck than just kind of have all the energy sucked out.
not. Yeah.
Ramsey just wanted to play for a good team. That's all he wanted, was to win.
Not good enough, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Although I would rather be playing for Los Angeles right now than Jacksonville. So I suppose he's one for now.
Does Jacksonville have anybody besides James Robinson that's really talented?
They got Miles Jack.
They had Fournette, but not anymore.
They had Fournette.
I mean, their receivers
Uh,
aren't they're not terrible,
They've
but
got
they didn't
decent young receivers. Yeah.
but they didn't have a quarterback all year.
Right.
I don't even know who started quarterback now that I think about it. Because they had Foles. They signed Foles for a lot of money, and then he went to Chicago. I don't even know how much money it was.
It was
It
20
was-
mil a year.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And you know, I like Nick, but not 20 million,
Oh, for sure not.
and he hasn't performed at a $20 million level in either team.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I'm not even sure who they have right now because I don't think Minshew is. I think either way, whether or not they draft Lawrence, I don't think Minshew is going to be their guy. Which
No, definitely not. If their guy next season is not Trevor Lawrence, I will be shocked.
I don't foresee. I don't know, and then I don't know what happens to Minshew because I don't really see him being on the bench for like year after year because maybe he's not like elite, but he's definitely useful somewhere else.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I just like him. I don't want his career to go nowhere. But
Right. I don't really know what the Steelers are going to do this offseason because they've got a ridiculous amount of free agents and they're in negative cap space.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
looking rough.
Ben alone.
I mean, Ben's getting paid under 20 million.
Ben almost always takes a cut, like every time.
Right.
But isn't it
No.
like a $41 million difference if he gets this extra year though?
I want to say 30, something like that. A substantial amount of money that could go a long way if we don't.
It's enough to put us 20 mil over on cap
Yeah.
space.
I don't know. It's looking like he's coming back from everything I've seen, and I can't quite tell whether or not I want that. I really feel indifferent about it. There's
I feel like it would be productive to take Ben for like one more year, get someone young in the draft, and have him sit under Ben for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Ben is like washed. I mean, that last playoff performance, he threw for 500 yards, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a terrible game and he threw for 500 yards.
I definitely don't think
the
he's
game was.
completely done.
I think that game was terrible. Like statistically, like 4 picks is never good. From what I saw, only one of those picks was really his fault. 2 of them were batted down, and I blame that completely on the O line because the O line has sucked, or it did suck all season.
Mhm.
And I want to say one of those balls was right in Ebron's chest, and it just bounced straight up. So really, I don't
Yeah,
even
I
put
saw
one of those
that
picks
one.
on Ben.
Yeah,
And even then, a 500-yard playoff game is pretty damn impressive. So
our entire O line is geriatric.
yeah, I can't think of the old O-line coach's name, the one that went to Denver, but I missed him because that was when it was elite. But
Yeah, I was glad that we fired whoever the fuck it was that we had.
yeah, I can't think of his name.
Randy?
He's
We did
gone
fire-
too.
Yeah, we fired Randy.
We fired our offensive coordinator, O-line coach, and then I want to say cornerbacks coach. Is that right?
Yeah, I think just defensive backs in general. I don't know if it
Yeah.
makes a difference.
I'm definitely stoked about Randy being gone, and I believe they're gonna promote Josh Canada, or not Josh Canada, Matt Canada, which
Have they not
first-
done that yet?
they may have. Last time I checked, it was like, oh, like this is the speculation, but
Oh,
they
I
may
thought
have
they did.
confirmed it. They probably did. But
I'm
I
still
also read
hesitant.
somewhere that during the last half of the Cleveland game, they let Matt call the plays, and that was when that
We
that
scored.
momentum started to swing. So I don't know if that's true. I hope it's true. Like I hope I have something to look forward to. But either way, I think anybody but Randy is a good step.
Like, they're definitely going to have to let some of these people go. Like, I think Juju's definitely gone.
They don't have the money to re-sign him.
They got Bud Dupree's a free agent. Mike Hilton. Those are some of the big ones.
I think we can be okay without Bud Dupree, but it kind of hurts that we're like he's leaving for nothing.
Right.
It sucks to have him gone, but Alex Highsmith played an amazing rookie season.
He was, I think, second in the league for rookie edge rushers besides Chase Young.
I think he beat Chase Young in a few categories, but
Yeah,
I
he
could
did.
be like it was pretty impressive. So I think even if Bud goes, then it's not all doom and gloom because I think that's a pretty promising kid. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm really excited to have Devin Bush back next year
Yeah,
because he
no,
was
that-
out for like
Yeah, that definitely hurt a lot.
yeah, especially near
Yeah.
the end.
You had so many inside linebacker injuries,
yeah, and then even our
With, like-
backups.
like backup safeties playing inside linebacker.
Although Robert Spillane is kind of a badass, though. I didn't even know who that was, but he like one-on-one leveled out Derrick Henry. So it's like, okay, like
I mean,
this
I
guy.
guess he's something then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Those-
played well, and then he got hurt, and then I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's time to panic for sure.
Yeah, he like had a bone bruise on his knee or something. So then they brought up another backup, or yeah, they moved in somebody else, and at that point, I think it was done.
I mean, we were desperate enough to trade for Avery Williamson.
Yeah, well, I mean, we gave him to you for a bag of chips, so.
Basically,
That's pretty much what he's worth.
that
I
was
mean,
like
yeah, he's not
armed
that good
robbery.
anymore. I'm super excited for the Jets this offseason and next season.
Oh yeah, definitely a change in pace.
We got good receivers now, completely new, competent this time, front office. Second most cap room. CJ Mosley's coming back.
If you
Not
could
Adam
just
Gase.
yeah, if you could get Sam Darnold to stay healthy.
Right. If we
Oh.
could just not fuck up the offseason.
I want to see you guys draft who was it out of Oregon, like Penei Sewell or something like
Yes,
that.
that's who I want.
hmm
Penei Sewell would be fantastic.
Because if you continue to build your O line, then
Right.
I mean, you should be kind of set. Especially with Robert Saleh coming in.
Yes,
Def-
for sure.
can definitely even out the defense too.
If we can like get a bunch of good offensive guys in free agency and draft Penei Sewell, then with a defensive minded coach, he'll improve the defense on his own.
Yeah, I think your probably top target in free agency needs to be a receiver.
That's what I was thinking. I think definitely the best option would be Allen Robinson. I mean, he is getting up there in age, but he's definitely a dominant wide receiver one when he's got a good quarterback throwing to him.
Yeah, for who I know that's a free agents, it's probably him and Chris Godwin are the top two available
Yeah.
receiver wise.
Top three receivers, I think, are him, Godwin, and Juju.
Is Frank Gore coming back?
I have no clue. I mean, the dude's like 50 years old.
If I were him, I'd retire.
I wouldn't be disappointed if he didn't come back.
Because with the stat that I saw, I think he's played 16 seasons and he's got exactly 16,000 rushing yards.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I would leave it at that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already had a great career. It is pretty good to average 1,000 yards a season.
One of the most interesting things I was thinking about is even if the Jets don't go with Darnold, they're one of the most likely teams that could get Watson.
They definitely have the resources for it.
Yeah, they've got the trade capital and they definitely have the cap room.
I think in order to get him, you got to go get a receiver first,
That's what I was thinking.
and probably a stronger running back.
I don't know. I'm okay with our running backs right now. They're not great, but they're like doable.
If you're not last in rushing,
Yeah, that's true. Bottom half, but not last.
That goes to the Steelers, doesn't it?
yeah, I
Yep.
believe it does.
It does.
The most disappointing thing, I think James Conner is the third best running back on our team.
McFarland hasn't proven himself to me yet. I think he has potential, but like a lot of drops and a lot of like missed handoffs. I don't know. He just looks sloppy.
Yeah, I think he needs work, but I think Benny Snell needs way more carries than he gets right now.
definitely agree with that. I don't. Was it against the Bengals maybe that he was like the offensive player? Like he was one of the only things keeping momentum at all.
Yeah, I think there were only like 3 games where he was in double digits for carries.
That's-
Jets didn't actually do that bad in rushing this year. They were 22nd overall, which isn't great, but it's better than I thought.
yeah, it's really not that bad, all things considered.
Funny to
Especially-
see Houston at second to last with that David Johnson trade.
Ugh.
I feel bad for David Johnson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that wrist injury destroyed his whole career.
100%. He was really good coming out of UNI. He was good
Mhm.
for the first couple years he was in Arizona.
He had an MVP like season, and then he broke his wrist and was out for a year. And then he just never got back to that form.
He's almost 30 too.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys that like just didn't make it back from the
Right.
injury. Which, I mean, that sucks to see a lot of the time. When somebody's got a lot of talent and then something that bad happens and they just can't get it back.
Yeah.
But the Texans also have probably at least one of the worst offensive lines.
Yeah. And the funny thing is they traded for their first and second rounder this year for that good O lineman from Miami.
I mean, yeah, that's one, but you need 4 more of
you
them.
need 4 more. See, the Texans are also in negative cap room. Where the heck is all their cap going?
To all the guys that they traded away.
Or are going to trade away.
Because even when they trade those guys, they still got like dead cap space that they still got to pay them. So I'm sure D Hop gets a shit ton of money from both of the teams he's been on.
Probably.
Watson's going to get a ton because his contract is massive. I mean,
Yeah, the guy that they
even if they get
got
rid of
from
him,
Miami, the lineman they got from Miami is getting paid $16 million a year. JJ's getting paid
Blackman,
17 and a half, but he'll probably be gone.
I really hope he comes to Pittsburgh, man. I would love to see the 3-year.
I mean, it would be cool, but yeah, I definitely don't think it's happening.
I just don't see from what I've heard, just hearing him talk, I don't think the money seems to be as important anymore. And especially since he's already gotten 2 defensive MVP awards.
But I mean,
Like-
they have to pay him something.
I mean, he wants to win. That's why
They
that's how
definitely
he
do.
used to.
But I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if I was 4-12 for my entire career, I could not give a shit about the money.
No, I don't. And I don't think he does. I mean, obviously, yes. You know.
Well, if he
Pay the man
wants to
something.
win and money's no concern, I'd go somewhere like the Colts.
I don't foresee the Colts having. I mean, they're definitely better than they will. Actually, no, that's not even true either. I would still rather have Andrew Luck over Philip Rivers, but
Oh, for sure.
I think once Rivers is gone, I'm not even sure what the plan is there. So I don't know.
They need to find another receiver.
I think either way, Watt's career has just
Right.
been wasted, and that's shameful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good for him for sticking with his team, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, for
It kind
winning,
of reminds me of Joe Thomas, that left tackle for the Browns.
Yeah. I mean, it's like those situations are sad too. That JJ Watt has given basically everything to the city of Houston, and they haven't done shit for him.
Right.
and he's gone through so many injuries and so much rehab, and yeah, for nothing.
I mean, after was it Harvey, that hurricane, the one?
Yeah, Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah.
He
Where
did a
he-
bunch of like fundraising and stuff like that.
Didn't he devote like a shit ton of his contract to that or his pay from that
Yeah,
year?
yeah, it was a lot of money.
Where he basically single-handedly rebuilt the city of Houston, and they can't get him a playoff win.
Yeah. Well, and like even if they're not good, it just feels like they don't really appreciate him
I mean, they haven't
and like
appreciated
everything that
anybody
he's
they've
done
had.
for the organization. He's done more than their head coaches have.
Just the roster pieces that they've had
Yeah.
and just don't have anymore.
Well, and until Deshaun Watson, Houston's never really had a franchise quarterback, and now they're about to lose Watson. So
Yeah, they had him, D-Hop, Will Fuller, who's, I guess, technically still on the team. They've never really had a great running back.
no. Well, they a while ago they had Arian Foster.
Yeah, but I don't know that he was there at the same time.
No, he was gone for a while after that.
You see that Andre Johnson tweet?
Oh yeah, about him just like ripping apart Houston,
Yeah, about how ever
like a
since that-
terrible place.
yeah, since the one dude came in, it's just been dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck in free agency, and good luck re-signing the guys that have gotten you to where you're at.
I'm not gonna wish him good luck. They deserve to lose him.
No, 100%.
Oh, I just hope Watson goes somewhere where he'll thrive.
I think it'd almost be
He's-
hard for him not to. Like he's a
Yeah,
ridiculous talent.
he's not going to Miami, that's for sure.
I don't see that happening at all. But I don't know.
The two things that I've heard, I think, are him for Tua or him for Russell Wilson, and both of those sound extremely stupid.
I don't.
Especially
there's
Wilson.
no way Pete Carroll gives away Russell Wilson,
No.
even if it's for Watson. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, even though Russell Wilson was kind of dog shit this year.
I mean, he was great the first part of the year, and then like around week 7 or 8, he just
Yeah.
went straight down.
First 5 or 6 weeks, he was probably 1 or 2 on everybody's MVP list.
Right.
I mean,
And then he started throwing like 3 picks a game.
yeah, he was my fantasy quarterback at the beginning of the year. That's why I started out hot and then probably went under 100 points about 5 weeks in a row. Didn't they play Buffalo at one point? Wasn't that the drop-off game?
Yeah.
They played Buffalo, and I don't even know if he threw for a touchdown.
I think he threw like 3 picks and a touchdown.
He even played,
It was pretty bad.
yeah, he played bad against Washington, too. Like, the teams that he played bad against are not people that you should play bad against.
Right.
Do you think that's, like, the new Russell Wilson, or do you just think that's this year?
Honestly, I think that's just going to be this year. I don't think next year it's going to be like those first 6 games for the entire year. I don't think he's going to win. I don't think he'll probably win an MVP. But I think he'll definitely be back to like normal average Russell Wilson next year.
Yeah, I really hope that he's not a guy that's going to completely drop off.
Right.
But I could also see that happening. Because, like, he got somewhat better to end the year, but still, like, not good.
Mhm.
Especially in the playoff game. His touchdowns were, I mean, when it didn't matter anymore. He didn't play well to start it out. And then,
Right. I'm going to be interested to see what the Cowboys do this offseason, because now they know for sure that they have to re-sign Dak or they're screwed. And they don't have the money for it right now.
I mean, does anybody in that division really improve, though?
I mean, I say if the Cowboys re-sign Dak and he's healthy the whole year, they win the division. Maybe not by much,
They
but
could
they
go.
still win it.
They could go like 4-12 next year and win the division.
Looking that way.
But
They're
the
still stuck
Eagles,
with Mike McCarthy though.
yeah, the Eagles could get better with Jalen Hurts. They weren't bad.
Yeah, I guess. They didn't look great though.
No,
I think they looked about as good as Washington with Jalen Hurts. They just need more offensive weapons. And it also doesn't help that Zach Ertz was out for the year.
yeah, the Eagles have a lot of rebuilding to do offensively.
And they're negative 52 mil in cap room, so
That's got to be all on Carson Wentz. Who else on the roster is worth paying?
Well, Carson Wentz isn't worth paying either, but you know, they made that mistake.
It's a valid point.
Carson Wentz is their highest paid guy. He's getting paid 15.5 mil a year. And then Fletcher Cox is getting paid 15 mil a year.
How do you pay a defensive lineman that much?
Aaron Donald's getting paid like 25 mil a year.
Like again, that's that's too much money.
I mean, honestly, I don't really think so.
I mean,
Donald's like an MVP.
Like,
did
He
you
has
see
been.
their defense last weekend though?
I mean, he was also injured and out for most of the
Yeah.
game.
That was pretty much their defense without him. So
Yeah, but the fact of like that he is their defense because they don't have the money to go get somebody else.
I mean, but if you've got
think
someone that good on your defensive line, do you need anybody else?
And pretty clearly, if he's out, they could not stop the Packers.
Well, it's hard for anybody to stop the Packers this year.
except the Bucks. So I'm kind of excited about this next game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that ends the same this week.
Let's see,
No, I
they're
think
also
Packers win this one.
they're paying Deshaun Jackson 8 mil. I don't even think he was starting.
I think the last 2 seasons he's been injured for most of the year.
They're shelling out a huge amount of money to their O line. Let's see, 10 mil, 5.5, 13 mil. That's 4 of their 5 starters.
Are those just guys that have been there for a long time or what? Because their O line's
They're-
not that good.
They're guys that were signed to big contracts like 2 or 3 years ago when their O line was really good, and now they're just getting old.
Did they give everybody an extension after the Super Bowl?
Probably. It's like Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Jason Kelsey. They're all guys that are like, they were really good, but now they're just old.
So the Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Steelers O-line, pretty much.
That's it.
They're also paying Brandon Graham 13 mil. So they're shelling out 28 mil for 2 defensive linemen. And then Darius Slay's got 12 mil.
Remember
Some
when they
some
acted
random
like that was
dude
a
I've
big
never
move?
heard of is making 13 mil.
Who?
Javon Hargrave.
Yeah.
He's a defensive lineman too.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
all right though.
He's good. He's not 13 million good.
No. probably
Well,
not,
that's at about 40 mil on their defensive line. And I don't even know who their 4th guy is.
Can you get the defensive stats for them real quick?
Yeah.
I want to see how many sacks $40 million can get me. Because just from looking at how their defensive line would play, that's not a Ford. That's maybe a $40 defensive line, not 40 million.
Yeah. Let's see. Fletcher Cox only had 6.5 sacks this season.
That's not horrible. It's better than I thought it was going to be. But I'm sure he's going to be the top of that list.
I mean, yeah, 6.5 sacks for 13 mil though. It's not ideal. Brandon Graham had 8 sacks.
Hargrave had 4.5.
Yikes. So that's less than 20 sacks for 40 mil.
I mean, the Steelers' edge rushers had to have more than that combined.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure TJ probably had like 14 or 15? And he probably also had like 5 forced fumbles.
I know he led in like QB pressures and I don't know, a lot of stuff. I can't tell you exactly how many sacks he had, but it was probably about 14, 15, yeah.
Yeah, he had 15 on his own.
Jeez.
Insane.
Hewitt had 11. Dupree had 8, and he was out for the last like 6 games.
Yeah, so it looks like the Eagles' problem is just overpaying for people who aren't performing.
That whole division is just kind of a shit show.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Giants be good again now that Eli's gone.
Yeah, I would as well.
They were just kind of babying him for the last couple seasons that he was there.
Yeah.
Probably
I
my
think they
favorite
could
team in the
definitely make a
division.
run for the division next year. Assuming they have a decent draft.
I mean, when they were healthy at the very beginning of the year, they played fairly well against us.
I mean, Daniel Jones didn't do awful.
Most teams
And
played well against us.
Saquon was out for the entire season, right?
Is this,
Yeah, he hurt his knee like week 2 or 3 or something. Like it was very early.
yeah, isn't this back-to-back seasons? Where he's
Wait,
got,
what?
or at least twice in his
I don't
career,
think he was-
he's been out for an entire year.
Yeah.
Do you think he ever stays healthy enough to be as good as he's hyped up to be?
I think so.
I hope so.
I mean, his rookie year and his second year he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if he can stay healthy and the Giants can get like, if they can have even an okay pass game so teams aren't just like stacking the box the entire game, I think he'll be dominant.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to make the difference. Because if they can actually get like a dual threat is not the right word, but just an offense that's not one-dimensional.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think helping out the passing game this offseason will also help out their run game.
It definitely remains to be seen, though. I think Jones has like the ability to, beat the guy, but right now he's very inconsistent. I think is probably the best word I could use to describe him. Like some weeks it's great, and others his decision making is horrible. I don't really know what to make of him. But then he had that one like 80-yard run where it definitely should have been a touchdown, and he tripped on like the 10 or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's like the perfect.
He just
example.
ran out of gas and tripped over himself.
Bad. I can't. I don't really know where I put him.
I mean, he's not horrible, but he definitely was not worth the 6th overall pick.
Right.
No, because there were better quarterbacks in that draft. I mean, like there always are. It very rarely feels like the, top picked quarterback is the best, but
Right.
I don't know. I wouldn't have picked him. I was surprised that they did.
I'm pretty sure most of the Giants fans would not have taken him there.
No, I remember their reactions at the draft, and they weren't.
I remember just like
pleased.
watching videos on YouTube of Giants fans' reactions to Daniel Jones getting picked.
Because they had 2 first rounders that year, didn't they?
I think so.
Where they
Sounds right.
definitely they could have taken him with. I think
They
it was-
probably could have taken him with their later first rounder.
Yeah, I think it was like 14, which even then is almost too early. But
Yeah. Nobody else would have taken him there.
I mean, I think they probably try and build the O line.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of teams that have great protection
hmm
because there's the teams like the Steelers and the Eagles that just they're old now,
Yeah.
and there's teams that just can't seem to draft an offensive line for shit.
Yeah.
But that's what's been kind of promising about the Jets is that they're kind of committing to building slowly, but
Right.
steadily at the same time.
Right. They got one piece of the O line that'll hopefully be a franchise guy.
He looked really good this year.
He looks to be that way.
Yeah.
He did extremely well his rookie year. And I mean, good left tackles are hard to come by. And then if they get Sewell at the 2nd overall this draft, they can put him at the other tackle. And hopefully he'll live up to the hype too.
Yeah, I think at the probably first 2 or 3 picks this year are like the guys that you have to go with. I don't know if there's a lot of question around who those teams
Right.
should go with.
I feel like the Falcons at number 4 could take Zach Wilson.
Are they 4?
Yeah, the
Oh.
Falcons are 4, I think.
I knew they were bad. I didn't know they were that bad though.
I mean, that's not a bad pick.
No, I mean,
mean,
it's a good
'cause-
pick. I didn't think they performed, or I didn't think their record was that bad.
I think they were 4-12
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
because it'll go Lawrence, hopefully Sewell, and then the Dolphins will probably trade down or they'll take Devontae Smith.
I can definitely see the Dolphins taking Devontae Smith.
I think that's what they should go with. And then that'll leave the Falcons an opportunity to draft their new franchise quarterback.
So bad for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
He didn't really this year, but he always plays at a really high level and never anything.
Because
Like
the Falcons' defense is always terrible.
Always.
Their defense is always one of the worst.
That's what lost them the Super Bowl when they were.
Yeah.
He put them up. Plenty of points.
Yeah.
By 25, you shouldn't have to. Really, if you're up 25 points in Super Bowl, you shouldn't have to keep scoring every drive like that. I don't
Exactly.
understand. That franchise has let him down so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Falcons always have a bad defense. The Lions always have a bad defense. The Texans definitely always have a bad defense. I mean, even this year when they were garbage and they were just like stuck with nothing, Deshaun Watson would keep them in games, and then their defense would get them out of the game.
Right.
Like they could have probably beat the Titans had they gone to
Oh, yeah.
overtime in that last game.
Because they lost by like 3, right? Like it was very close.
Yeah. When your only job is to keep them from getting like 40 yards downfield and you let their number 1 receiver get behind your entire secondary, that's a little,
failure.
yeah, that's kind of an issue.
Sad.
What was it, 18 seconds maybe on the clock?
Mm-hmm.
So if you force them into like 1 incompletion, they probably just run the clock out, go to overtime.
It reminds me of the Jets-Raiders game when Greg Williams called all-out cover 0 on a Hail Mary.
They literally covered zero. It was pretty impressive.
I mean, how are you going to run cover zero with a rookie, like a third round rookie corner on one of the fastest guys in the league?
I have no idea. I don't. I think
He might
I think
have done
it
it
was
on
last
purpose.
season that happened in a Pittsburgh game where the Dolphins ran cover zero and there was like
Uh,
5 seconds left in the half or something, and they hit Johnson and he ran like I don't even know how far. I don't. It always seems to happen with those teams that
like, it's just so stupid. All you have to do is drop, like, your entire secondary in the end zone and just bat it down.
I mean, when they fired him, they fired Greg Williams right after that game. I was kind
Yeah.
of surprised because the message that gives off is like that you weren't tanking and that you've been trying to win games all year and you just can't do it.
and then it's just worse.
Hey, we won 2 games at the end of the year. It's okay.
Yeah,
They were solid wins too.
you closed better than the Steelers did.
And we
Definitely.
ruined a couple of divisions. Beat
Yeah,
the Rams.
last 5 weeks you guys had 2 wins and we had 1.
Yeah. Well, I think that was mostly because you had Randy calling plays instead of Ben doing it himself. And because of the run game.
What run game?
Exactly.
Yeah, that one.
I mean, when you have Ben throwing like 50, 60 times a game, they're just going to drop 8 guys back into coverage and only blitz 3.
Yeah, because
Is
even the good games that James Conner has, he just doesn't get the ball.
I mean, even his good games were like 100 yards and a touchdown.
And a lot of those 100 yards came in like garbage time when it didn't really matter pretty
Right.
consistently.
He usually ends up with big yardage because he'll get a big hole for on like 2 or 3 plays.
He'll
And-
get like
Other than that, he just runs into the back of the offensive line.
he'll have like 2 runs for 70 yards at some point in the game, and then it'll be like 15 rushes for 30 yards.
That I hope it gets fixed, man. Everything starts there because I don't think I want to say Pittsburgh was like the had the lowest percentage of like play action plays, things like that. Like I don't know. That's not an option if you can't run the goddamn ball. So
Yeah. I would be shocked if they re-signed Connor, honestly.
Yeah, if they know you're not going to run, then they're not going to be fooled by play action.
like I like Connor and I think he's a great guy. And I think he's a good player. Like I think he's a hardworking player, but he just I don't know, he's just not getting it done. And so yeah, he probably needs to go and that sucks. But at the same time,
I
like
think-
it was horrible this season.
I mean, yeah, it's the NFL. It's not Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think the perfect offseason for the Jets would be keeping Darnold. They've got to re-sign Marcus May. I think they should sign Allen Robinson to like a 1 or 2 year deal. And then I think their first round picks have to be like Penei Sewell at number 2 and then Jalen Waddle at 19.
Oh yeah, because you got the
We took Seattle's
Seattle's
first
pick.
round. Yeah, we got 2 first rounders and a second rounder for Blitz Boy.
that's a fucking joke.
I mean, I was sad to see him go because he was like he was an actual leader in the Jets secondary, but we got a pretty big haul for him.
I mean, if you want to give us that bag of chips back, you can have James Conner too.
Oh no, I don't even know if he's worth that, honestly.
Anymore.
I'll keep that 5th rounder.
What about just the bag?
Just the empty bag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we'll
can cut it in half if you want to.
We'll I'll toss out a 7th rounder for next year and see what it gets.
I'll take your fucking 9th rounder from 2040. Get him the fuck off our roster.
Connor's definitely gonna, if he wants to play next season for another team, I think he's gonna have to take a huge pay cut from someone in free agency. He's gonna have to prove that he can be a starting running back again.
It's got to be a run first team because he's not a receiving back.
Right.
Can though. He's never really utilized like that, but he can catch, while digging duck routes fairly
Yeah.
well.
I'm trying to think of a team that's like a run first that would need him. I mean, maybe the Broncos, maybe. I can't really think of anyone on the spot though. Like all these teams that are run first, like Browns, Ravens, Titans, they don't need any running backs. I feel like he's going to wind up on a team like the Lions.
Yeah, he's gonna end up with somebody. Like he's not gonna stay a free agent, but like
Yeah.
just can't identify where he would go. Because even like the bad teams like Cincinnati, they've got 2 good running backs.
Yeah. I could
Atlanta-
see him going somewhere like the Lions or the Texans and just like being an okay backup.
I could kind of see him going maybe to the 49ers.
Yeah, they seem to need a lot of running backs.
If they go back to how like what got them to the Super Bowl. If they would just,
Right.
like stick with that offense.
Yeah. If they're smart, they'll make Jimmy G throw the ball as little as possible.
Yeah, if they were smart, they would have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He threw the ball the most that game that he had all year.
Right.
And they were up by 10 at one point, and then they lost by 10.
I mean, they ran all over the Packers.
Yeah, if he can, if Jimmy G can stay healthy.
I've heard rumors that he might go back to the Patriots. I don't know how much legitimacy there is in that, but
Eh. I don't know. I see the Patriots either getting Watson or drafting someone.
They got to draft
Probably.
somebody.
they actually
would-
have decent picks now.
I would hate so much for Watson to go to the Patriots.
Me too.
And I'd rather stay with the Texans than go to the Patriots. At least the Texans have a receiver. The Patriots finally figured out that having nobody with talent except for your quarterback doesn't get you to the playoffs.
Right. Well, I mean, they will have. Well, I mean, Edelman will come back next year, but he's going to be like 33, isn't he?
Yeah, when your number one guy is a white slot receiver in his 30s.
Patriots have never really been good at drafting receivers.
He's 34,
I
almost
just signed him at
35.
Walmart.
Jeez. I mean, they took that guy, Keneal Harry, in the first round a couple years ago that turned out to be not much. Then they signed Josh Gordon, and it turns out, oh, he was still into drugs.
The amount of times
Whoops.
he's been reinstated and resuspended in the last like year and a half alone.
Right. All right. Well, unfortunately, I have to head out now.
I mean, we got a pretty decent length recording right here, so
Yeah, I feel like that was pretty good. We started at what, like 4:45?
I think so.
Something like that.
So yeah, that was pretty good. All right. Well, I'm gonna head out. Thanks for having me here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do this again.
Jack, did you want to
Alright.
wrap right now, or do you want to keep going?
I don't really care. I'm hungry. I kind of want to go make something to eat.
All right.
Unless there's something else you want to talk about.
I guess just if you had anything else with the Steelers.
At the moment, I'm just pissed off. So I think I need to collect my thoughts because right now I'm just kind of disappointed. But I don't know. I'm glad that Randy's gone. That's my most positive takeaway right now. But I don't think that fixes every problem.
No, I'm still kind of concerned about whether or not Matt Canada's gonna actually make a big difference.
I definitely think it will be an improvement, but I don't know if it'll be enough. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
No, because it always concerns me when you've got a bad area in your franchise, but then you promote from within.
He does seem to be much more willing to throw the deep ball, though, which I think is telling because every time, those kind of plays are incorporated, it more often than not tends to work with that Pittsburgh offense. So I'm tired of nothing but slants because those are not only boring but are easy to read, and it just isn't super efficient or effective. So
You mean you don't want to run drags or halfback draws in 3rd and 14?
no, I'd rather not be in 3rd and 14 every drive anymore. That's my goal. So if you get an offensive coordinator that understands, the utility and the use of play action, and a coordinator that understands that Roethlisberger is really at his best when he's throwing a deep ball, then I don't know, maybe things will look better. But I think that needs to be seen because I don't really trust it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in his defense, I think that was his first year on our staff.
Yeah,
So I
as
guess
far as I know.
promoting from within is not really that strong of an argument when he's only been there for a season.
Yeah, and I think I definitely saw improvement in Rudolph in the game against Cleveland and the
Yeah,
games
some
he
of
was playing
the
later last year. So
yeah, I think some of the Browns secondary was out, but yeah, he still played
Mhm.
a lot
I think Denzel
better
Ward
than
was
I
out.
thought he would.
Yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. So, if his quarterback coach shops are anything to, base my hope off of, then I feel okay. I feel better than I did, before he was, or I feel better than I did before Randy was like confirmed to be gone because I figured that would be the case, but it wasn't quite, cemented yet. So I don't know. I don't. I'm excited to see. I'm excited and like worried to see what happens this offseason because I feel like there's going to be a lot of good things, but I also know that a lot of guys are going to have to walk, and that sucks. But guess we'll just
Yeah.
have to find out. I trust Kevin Colbert. Dude's kind of a guru.
Yeah, for as much as I like, there's a lot of stuff he does that kind of bothers me, but he's really fucking good at drafting.
He is, especially receivers. I don't understand. But right now, if we can keep Juju, which it sounds like Roethlisberger really wants to do, then I don't know. I think our receiving core is good. I think it needs improvement for sure. Like I think the drops horrible. I think that stuff needs to be cleaned up. But overall, I'm fairly happy with the receiving core we have right now. I think they're all good. I think that Washington is underutilized. I think he's kind of a badass that hasn't really gotten enough of a chance. But
Yeah, I think he needs to be more of like a slot guy.
I would agree. And I think if you pair him with Johnson, who I think has really proven himself, when he actually manages to catch the goddamn ball, then he's a great after catch runner. I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, if we can work on the hands, we've got the best receiving core we've had in a while.
He definitely improved. Ebron was still looking rough, but Johnson's catching definitely improved. He had a couple of terrible games, and I think he
dropped a catch early on in one game. I can't remember who it was against, but they benched him pretty much immediately. And when he came back out, he was lights out. So I think it got to him.
Ebron didn't look good for the last half of the year, but I'm still glad we went and got him.
I think it'll turn out to be a good move, but I don't know. It sucks that McDonald's probably gonna have to go because I really like McDonald. But oh well, we don't really use tight ends like we used to when we had Heath.
Yeah, we haven't had anybody like him since then. I always like having a receiving tight end, so that's kind of why I'm glad that we got Ebron. But
Yeah, I'd probably rather have Ebron than McDonald, but if he can't catch, then that's not really any help in having a receiving tight end. So we'll see how he grows. Because I think in his first season in Indianapolis, he was a complete badass, and he seems to really like it in Pittsburgh. So
yeah, he's kind of been up and down for most of his career, but he started out really well. I think he got hurt his second or third season.
yeah, I mean, this is
And
his
then
first season in a new team. I think he'll bounce back.
Yeah, I think we still definitely need to make a move for a running back.
Yeah, I hope it's Harris, but I don't exactly see him falling that low. I don't see him falling to the 24th pick.
Yeah, I'd like to see us trade up for him, but I don't know what assets we've got
Not a lot at the moment.
because even in theory of trading somebody, this contract is about to expire. The draft is after free agency.
Mhm.
So you'd basically be re-signing a guy under the idea like, hey, you're about to get traded anyway.
Pretty much. I don't know. It's a tough situation, man. It sucks that the season ended the way it did, but I don't know. Maybe it'll actually humble him this time.
Yeah, I think it was partially deserved for just kind of the lack of self-awareness for a while.
Lack of self-awareness, lack of preparation all the time. That's always been a problem under Tomlin. I don't know. It's frustrating, but at the same time, I can't say I didn't see it coming.
No, once we're talking a lot, and especially with most of our fan base between the two Cleveland games, where all the hype was you only beat us by 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, yeah, we played better in the second half, but they fucking wiped the floor with us.
No, I definitely think we beat ourselves more than they beat us. Like, so many just sloppy play, just horrible mistakes. It was really self-sabotage. Not to say that Cleveland didn't play a good game, because they absolutely did, but it shouldn't have ended that way if Pittsburgh came prepared, but they didn't. So
It
jokes
felt,
on them.
yeah, it felt a lot like that Denver-Seattle Super Bowl, where the first snap
It's-
of the game he threw it over Peyton Manning's head.
That is exactly what I thought. I saw that, except at least in their situation, it was a safety, not a touchdown. But as soon as I saw that, the first thing that came to my head was Peyton Manning's face when the ball went over. I was like, "Oh shit, it's gonna be that, isn't it? Like, we're done." And from there, it only got worse.
Yeah, I missed that because I guess I missed the first 28 points the Browns put up because I wasn't home at when the game started.
That's good for you.
I was
wish I didn't see it.
going to put it on when I got home, but then I looked at the score and yeah, I didn't watch that game.
I watched the whole thing. I felt like I had to, but I hated every minute of it.
Now, if I would have turned it on at the very beginning, I probably would have watched the whole thing. But
Mhm.
yeah, I could not bring myself to watch something we were down, 28-0, maybe 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, within the first quarter, it was pathetic. But sucks to suck. Hopefully, we'll be better next year. But we will see. There's going to need to be some like major changes and adjustments. So I'm glad I'm not Kevin Colbert because I don't know what I would do.
Kind of seems like the one thing that he can't draft is like secondary.
No, I'm amazed we got Minka. Like we don't fuck around in free agency much. So
No, we never make moves like that. We gave up what was it, first and a second, or was it 2 firsts?
I think it was like a first and a sixth or something like that. And I'm really happy with that trade. I think
Yeah, it was definitely.
Fitzpatrick's talent outweighs most number one picks or most first round picks you can get anyway. So
Yeah. I mean, the Dolphins made good use of that draft pick. I don't
I'm
I
not
don't
even sure who
remember
they got.
for sure who they got, but I mean, what were they, 10-6 this year?
Something like that.
I wanted to see them make the playoffs over the Colts.
Yeah, I did
'Cause
too.
I can't stand watching Phillip Rivers throw the ball.
I hate Phillip Rivers.
Like, it looks like he's lobbing it the entire time.
No, his throwing motion's weird. I hate how he talks trash, but like centers himself. Like it just comes off as weak. I don't know. He just annoys me.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I think I probably got a wrap because this is almost dead.
All right, man. Not a problem. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, that went pretty well.
All right.
Freshman football.